Today we're going to be looking at some very petty people. When your mum finds out your stepdad messaged a woman she hates happy birthday.
You gonna sing happy birthday to me?
No. Can we all blow it out? We're going to sing happy birthday to Daddy's girlfriend Kelly.
Oh.
Because he messaged her happy birthday on Facebook.
Ooh.
Mommy,
I don't know how to feel about this.
So she must be like family, so we're all going to sing to her. You ready?
Oh my god, Mom, I'm crying.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
You know what I thought you were about to
birthday
do?
To you.
I think you're about to tell me you're pregnant or something. There's like a... I was about to die.
Happy birthday to you and many more. All right, Eric, you can blow her. Good job. You want to lick the icing?
You are sick.
I want to lick the icing.
Mom, you are a sick human
in
being.
the head.
You're sick in the head.
You're sick in the head.
Quite clearly that mum is not happy with the stepdad. However, I feel like what she should have done is have a conversation. Don't do that in front of the kids. Why would you do that in front of the kids? That's what I'm thinking. It's like, that's one of the things you don't do. There's certain things you don't do to your kids, and one of them is pushing your arguments onto them. You know, if you're not happy with him, talk to him. Don't do that. Everyone press about the kids, LMAO. Those kids are gonna grow up and lol hard at this. Beautiful memories, happy birthday, Kelly, I want cake. But are they gonna find that funny though? Like, maybe you find that funny, however, I just don't agree with that. Personally, I don't think that's petty. I think that's just being horrible. Yet again, you know, if you're having issues, talk about it. Don't do stuff like that. There's a time and a place, and that was neither of them. This is funny, but I feel bad for the kids because my mum was also this petty growing up. Okay, so that person's been exactly for the same thing, and she feels bad for the kids, so quite clearly it's not a good thing. Look, I'm all for being petty, however, that's not petty, that's just being horrible. That's how you're gonna cause issues for your kids.
List of petty things I do because I never care.
Okay, let's
One, I
go.
unfollow people when I notice they don't like my shit, and I never care. I don't give a that's petty. The way I see it, you're a hater. You're a hater, especially if you view my stories. Like, you know when you'll post a picture and then you'll repost your own picture on your story, and then a will view it and not like it? Like, you're a top hater. Like, number two, turn my red receipts on when I'm arguing. Never care. You will know exactly at what time I didn't care. Sometimes instead of turning my red receipts on, I'll just go post on my story, like, after not texting you back. And yeah. Number three, I will say goodnight at 6 p.m. if you get me mad. If you got me mad at 3 p.m., I guess it's time to go to sleep. Good night. As soon as you say something, on my phone, good night. No, yeah, good night. I don't give a 2 p.m., good night. Last but not least, my personal favorite, when somebody subs me, I purposely, like, don't sub them back. Like, I'll post the happiest thing I possibly can. Like, when I know 100% you're throwing subs at me, I'm gonna go repost a meme, a cute picture of myself. Like, I'm gonna make sure you feel so irrelevant. Or, like, let's say it's, like, tension and you know that I know it's about me, I'm gonna repost the same thing you reposted. Like, a bitch will post, I hate bitches with big noses, and I'll take that shit and I'll go post it. Like, yo, word, yo. Mind you, it's about me, but I never cared.
I won't lie, I agree with the first one. I cannot stand it whenever you post something in your story and people view it. I get thousands of views on my Instagram story. Whenever I post a photo, I get like 1,000 likes. Why are 2,000 people viewing it but not liking it? You know, are they all fake? The first one is so real. Exactly, it's like, how are you gonna view myself and not like it? You're obviously a hater. The sub, I never post back. Okay, so this is actually something that I've started to do. A lot of times whenever someone's arguing with you and they post something in their story about ranting about their feelings, they're doing it because they want you to respond, so it means that they can respond and basically continue on the argument. Best thing that you could do is just ignore them. With me, I don't care. Like, quite frankly, I don't care. I've got other things. I've got work, I've got YouTube, I can watch like Netflix. I'm just not that type of person. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't trust some people. I don't trust people who post quotes in their stories whenever they're really, really angry. Do you ever see someone post a quote on Facebook or Instagram and you instantly know that it's obviously aimed at someone? I don't trust them. I just don't. Because I'm scared that one day I might upset them and then they'll post like a quote about me.
If you think you're petty, I want you to remember the president of Uganda who created a law saying you could be charged and convicted if you were legally found to be annoying.
Oh.
In 2019, he tried to charge someone.
But what is the qualifications? What counts as annoying and what doesn't count as annoying? Is it just the police who can charge someone? Imagine someone tries to charge him. That one politician who ran for mayor who took back the ambulance she donated to a hospital after she lost the election. I mean, that is just politicians to a T. They'll do really, really good things, then whenever they don't get what they want, they'll take it back. Could you imagine that someone literally donates like an ambulance to a hospital and then they take it back as they don't win the election? What is she doing with that ambulance? Is it just literally sat in her driveway? In Malaysia, we have a similar law. Okay, so it looks like it is a law in other places. But yet again, how can you get charged for it? What counts as annoying, but then what doesn't count as annoying? If I find someone annoying, does that mean they get charged, but if they find me annoying, do I get charged? And yet again, would you get put into jail for that? Could you imagine you literally get sentenced like a month in jail and all the inmates are like, oh, what you in here for? Oh, I was charged with being annoying.
This woman found out her husband was cheating on her while they were celebrating their 10th wedding anniversary in Hawaii. The husband had landed in Hawaii 3 days prior to the wife's arrival for a business trip. When the wife arrived 3 days later, the hotel concierge tipped her off that her husband had been going into his room late at night with another girl. Now, the wife could have stormed up there, caused a scene, and confronted her husband, but she's more the passive-aggressive petty type. Instead, she waited till he fell asleep that night, and then she grabbed his wallet, phone, and keys and headed to the airport to hop on a flight back to the mainland without him. This dude wakes up the next morning and he can't figure out where his wife is because he can't call her, he doesn't have a phone, and he can't find his wallet or his keys anywhere. He doesn't know what to do. And then at 11 a.m. they kicked him out of the room because his wife had checked him out of the hotel the night before when she left. And he's like, hey, just let me stay another night while I figure this thing out. And they're like, hey, can you put down a credit card for the room? And he's like, I don't know, I don't have any credit card on me. Then he asked the hotel to see if he could use their phone to contact somebody who could help him, and the concierge came over and said, sir, you're no longer a paying guest at this resort, you need to get off the property. Eventually this dude finds somebody on the street who will let him use their cell phone, and he calls his side piece who is still on the island and is like, hey, can I stay with you? And she's like, I'm with my husband, what are you talking about? You can't stay with me. Now this guy's just meandering around downtown Honolulu on a Sunday night contemplating his existence, and he can't get to the bank to get any money because all the banks are closed. So he spends the night on the sand at the beach, and then he wakes up on Monday morning and he goes to the bank and asks for money out of his account, but they're like, we don't know who you are, sir. Like, you can't prove with identification or a debit card that this is actually your account. Apparently he was able to go down to the police station and file a report for his stolen identification, and then they issued him a temporary pass which got him through TSA and back to the mainland. Wife couldn't wait for him to get back to their house because while he was over in Hawaii playing real life Oregon Trail trying to figure out a way home, she had already moved herself completely out of their house and invited some homeless people to take up residence there. So when he walked through the door, there were 3 random dudes there just waiting to greet him.
Moral of the story, if you don't want your life to end up like that, don't cheat on your wife. I admire women who have the emotional capacity to plan and execute all that without losing it. Their karma probably feels better than them. Put it this way, if someone ever does you dirty, rather than exploding in them and having to go with them, do something like that, be petty. Because you ruin their life without actually physically hurting them. And I feel like that's the best type of revenge. Roommate's girlfriend tried getting me evicted, I got her dumped. This is an old one but still entertaining. 7 years ago, I moved into a 4-bedroom house with 3 of my friends. I was the only woman among 3 dudes. One of the roommates was the owner's son. We were all friends in college, and honestly, it was the best 2 years ever living situation wise. I've always wanted to live with my friends. Like, I feel like everyone wanted to do that growing up. You just rent a house and you all live together. Does anyone else remember that murder that happened in America? Was it Idaho? I think it was called the Idaho murders. Basically, a bunch of kids living together all got like murdered. And ever since that day, I've been terrified of living with my friends because I feel like I'm much more likely to get murdered living with my friends than with my parents. I'm sorry that took a bit of a dark turn. We all had different work schedules, and because I worked early at 6 a.m, I had the only downstairs bedroom. My friend, let's call him Jay, who worked night shift and got home at 4:30 a.m, had the room above me so we didn't wake each other coming home. During the weekend, I would eat breakfast together before he went to bed and I went to work. We had a jar in the kitchen, we would all throw spare cash in, like $5 to $10 at a time each. That was for common groceries like milk, eggs, basic bread, and occasional house meals and beer, because we were in our early to mid-20s. The rule was always that if you used the last of the common use stuff, you take from the jar to cover the cost and grab it from the store ASAP. When we grabbed pizza, I'd make a meal for everyone. We used the same fund. This is all very important. Okay, so apparently they've got like emergency fund for groceries and pizza, and then if she's making a meal, and this is somehow important. About 5 months into the living situation, Jay met Karen and started dating her. He brought her to one of our game nights to introduce her to us, to get a feel for how she'd chill with us. All was fine when she thought I was only the girlfriend of another roommate, because we were playing in the dining room right by my room. Karen saw me go into that room to grab a sweater early in the night. Then she saw my roommate, the one she assumed I was dating, go upstairs to grab his phone charger. The entire vibe changed and she started to ask me who I was dating. She was floored when my roommates confirmed I lived there. I had my own room and I wasn't dating any of them. Okay, so I think I know exactly where the story's going. Basically, this woman's gonna have an issue with it. She seems to think that girl wants to steal her man. She stared at my face and then said she was surprised I'd want to live with 3 men, and we moved on. Cam, the owner's son, and I were the only ones that realized Karen saw this as a problem. I'm telling you, I know exactly what's gonna go on here because I've read a lot of these stories. This woman's gonna have an issue that her boyfriend lives with a woman. She thinks that he's gonna get with her. After that, she started coming over right after I got off work and only leaving when Jay went to work. If I came out of my room to the living room, she'd ask why I was out there. Well, I mean, you do live there, like that's literally where you live. Keep in mind, she's a guest in their house. If I was going to the kitchen, she would remark that I was being disrespectful to her and Jay, interrupting their time together. If I was talking to Jay when she got there, she practically grounded him and shoved her tongue down his throat. She even complained that I was ruining the mood for doing my laundry. Well then leave. Like, I don't know what her issue is. Yet again, some people are like this. It's not just girls, it's men as well. It's kind of like a wee territorial dog. It's like they view their partner as their pet. No one can touch them, no one can look at them. They basically are their mini slaves. Jay had made it clear that he knew she was being a problem and started pushing for them to just chill in his room. Unfortunately, she used the opportunity to make some of the worst imitation noises any of us of our roommates have ever heard. We laughed it off and just left those two alone. I just know for a fact he was so embarrassed lying there in his room. I just know that keeps him up at night. After a couple of weeks, she had gotten drunk before Jay went to work and insisted she stay in his room and sleep it off. I literally brought her food and medication because girl was gonna feel like hell in the morning. The next morning, Jay came in and started making breakfast for me and him when Karen came down and just started screaming. She woke up the other two roommates. She accused Jay of cheating, accused me of having relations with all the guys, then made the dumbest statements possible. She demanded I pay Jay back for the food he was wasting on me. Cam literally grabbed a fiver from the jar and slapped it in Jay's hand. Cam and I had come to Jesus talk with Jay. We both told him if she couldn't deal with me living there, then she could no longer come over. Jay asked for a week to figure things out, trying to claim she was being caught by surprise when she saw him making me breakfast and not thinking clearly. We gave him a week. Part of me kind of feels bad for this Jay guy because quite clearly this girlfriend is manipulative. She is one of them girls that is so unbelievably controlling that they're basically under a spell. Like, he can't really go against her, can he? Because if he does, he's gonna see all of her rage. In that week, mysteriously the grocery jar was getting raided. We all noticed and talked about it. We noticed my clean dishes were appearing still clean in the sink. Little things were disappearing from the common rooms and weirdly appearing in my room. Karen was being sweet. She was not exactly covert. Sam and I knew she was sowing chaos, but being curious where this was headed, we just watched. After a week, Cam gets a call from his mum asking if I had been going through something lately. Apparently a concerned party had sent her picture after picture and story upon story about how I was trashing the house and stealing. Karen expected this to get me in trouble. Lucky for me, my landlord was actually worried I was not doing okay and wanted Cam to help me get through it. Cam told me and I started planning my petty revenge. Okay, so we're finally gonna get to the petty revenge. I've got a feeling she's gonna somehow break up this relationship. But can we talk about the fact that this concerned party, who quite clearly is Karen, is going behind your back to message your landlord telling him lies? Like, is she mentally okay? Obviously not. First thing I did was eliminate the grocery jar. I split up what was in it evenly between the four of us and told them that was because of the raided stash. I felt it needed to go away. Karen didn't like this, but when we asked why, she claimed it was rude for me to make a decision. Cam backed me, battle won. Then I started hanging with Cam in the living room every day. She complained, but Jay told her it's our house and we can do as we please. Exactly, like it's literally your house. Why is she there? Is she not got a home? Is this girlfriend literally homeless? Like, why is she living with you? She doesn't need to be there. You need to get rid of her immediately. When she would go to the kitchen, one of us always asked what she was doing in our fridge. She stopped going in her fridge after 2 days. The weekend was here and we knew Jay had an extra overshift and Karen was planning to stay in his room so they could hang the next day. Cue my biggest penny move ever. Just a little information, Cam and I met in college where we both studied theatre, specifically acting. Okay, so they both do acting. What are they gonna do? Are they literally gonna pretend like murder each other? That Friday we hung out in his room right next to Karen. We made a bit of a show when Jay left and acted like he could not know that Cam and I were hanging out alone in his room. This caught Karen's attention. We started shaking the bed. Two nerdy people hit for us in the end of the bed to give the illusion the spicy thing was going down. It's quite awkward but oh so entertaining. Within minutes we got a text from Jay asking what we were doing. Cam replied playing video games. After 10 minutes we stopped the bed shake and actually did play video games on mute. When Jay demanded a FaceTime session, you saw exactly what he needed to see. Me beating Cam in Mario Party. We cycled through this for a few hours. After a while we decided to put the finishing touches on. We made a big deal about me needing to go to my room before Jay got home and Karen took the bait. We could see the little bit of light being cut off in the slightly open door by her watching. Cam and I stage kissed and I headed to the living room. Jay came in 10 minutes later, found me watching the movie normal for me and asked what was up. I told him I'd been up playing video games all night with Cam. He tells me Karen claimed we were doing the nasty and I told him we didn't. He goes to bed. Yet again, why is this girl so obsessed with your life? You would think that she's actually in a relationship with you. Maybe she is. I feel like this is a situation that a lot of gay men find themselves in. Basically where a straight man hates him for no reason, but realistically it's because he fancies him and he thinks his way of not showing that he fancies him is to be mean to them. The next day Jay calls a house meeting without Karen. He tells us she's making claims of us having a relationship and hiding it from him. We say she's full of it. We tell him about the frame job she tried to pull and how she went to Cam's mom to get me in trouble. Jay asks her other roommate if he heard anything from the bedroom. Bro doesn't even flinch and says I heard me calling Cam her a bee and the usual Mario Party crap. They weren't banging. Jay asked about the grocery jar. We all told him we suspected Karen. The next day he broke up with her for trying to turn him against us. He called her a liar and a thief. A few months later he dated another girl. She was awesome and they're married now. I was a bridesmaid, but the absolute best part, Karen being one of the waitstaff and seeing Cam with his wife and me with my fiance, telling them the story of how we once dry humped a mattress fully closed to get back at a fee. Yes, Jay knows the whole story and he didn't mind at all. So thank God they eventually broke up in the end, but you're telling me they literally got married and this Karen girl was like a waiter at their wedding. Now that is a way to pour salt in the wound. Okay, so that was the end of that little story. I feel like a much easier way to get her to be removed from the house is literally just call the landlord and say that this person is in your home and you want them out. Can you like kick them out? I feel like that easily could have saved you so much time, but it also doesn't bring the excitement of the pettiness. Karen sounds like a very insecure, immature brat, and hopefully she'll grow up. Probably not, but good for you. Something tells me Karen has a crush on you. Like, put it this way, if she's got an issue with you for no reason whatsoever, maybe she wants to be with you. Why was Jay so interested in whether you were banging Cam? He FaceTimed you to get proof. What a weirdo. Okay, so let's not blame Jay. Keep in mind he was dating an absolute catastrophe of a woman. I've never been in a relationship with someone like that, so I don't know what they're like. I just know that they're not good. Like, they will get in your head, so he's probably trying to be protective. We don't even know what she was saying to him. This girlfriend was literally crazy. Like, we don't know exactly what she was saying. Well, anyways, guys, let's leave that video there. That was some people who got petty revenge. I hope you enjoyed this video. If it seemed like a more petty people, let me know, definitely will. Press like or subscribe and see you all tomorrow for another video.